The International Day of Peace provides us with an opportunity to reflect on why the United Nations was established, namely to promote international peace and security. Established in 1981, the General Assembly has devoted this day, September 21, to commemorating and strengthening the ideals of peace. Peace is a central purpose of the UN, embodied in the opening line of the UN Charter, and I quote, "We, the peoples of the United Nations, determined to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war, which twice in our lifetime has brought untold sorrow to mankind," end quote. Now this year's theme, quote, "Actions for Peace, our ambition for the global goals," end quote, reminds us that fostering peace contributes to the realization of the SDGs, and that achieving the SDGs will create a culture of peace for all. The Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework we in the United Nations agreed with the government of Nigeria last December to cover the period 2023 to 2027 outlines several transformative initiatives grouped under 4 strategic pillars, namely prosperity, planet, people, and peace. We will contribute to peace in this country and beyond if we are able to support the government here to significantly accelerate the achievement of the SDGs, and in so doing, leaving no one behind. Now, notwithstanding progress made with collective decision-making, continuous dialogue in the UN Security Council, prevention of proliferation of nuclear weapons, and significant peacekeeping operations, the world is still grappling with many of the same challenges we have faced for more than 76 years. To name some, interstate wars, limits to our peacekeeping ability, terrorism, and a divided collective security system. Added to these persistent challenges, we recognize that violent conflict has evolved dramatically over time. We have seen fundamental changes in how violence manifests itself, by whom and where. As one example, we are now more aware of the violence against women and girls around the globe. Another example is the climate crisis, which is now contributing to conflict and crisis and violence. A further example is misinformation and hate speech, which poison democratic debate and fuel social instability. Since 2022, the number of people forced to flee conflict, violence, human rights violation, and persecution has surpassed a staggering 100 million. Here in Nigeria, the country struggles with unresolved violent conflicts, which continue to undermine the potential of its more than 200 million people. The core drivers of conflict in Nigeria are political, economic, and social in nature, including challenges with access to land and resources, criminality, inter- and intra-identity group disputes, ethno-religious and intra-faith conflicts, perceptions of marginalization from political power, and exclusion from decision-making. The victims of violent conflict in Nigeria have largely been, like in so many other countries, the most vulnerable among women, children, people with disabilities, and senior citizens. On today's International Day of Peace, there are 3 actions we can all take to move towards peace. First, we must reinvigorate our efforts to tackle the drivers and root causes of conflict, to end the cycles of violence in this country. Here in Nigeria, it is imperative that poverty is overcome through sustainable development and revitalization of the economy with maximum social impact for all. Secondly, the social contract must be reinforced. The relationship between governing institutions and the people they serve must be strengthened. Trust must be built, not least through greater transparency and accountability. Thirdly and lastly, we must remember to put people first. As I mentioned earlier, the preamble of our UN Charter begins with "We the Peoples." So we must prioritize crossing divides and coming together to promote the values of tolerance, respect, reconciliation, and human dignity. Let's remember that being peaceful is the responsibility of everyone. In closing, let me salute all the peace builders on the front lines, at times sacrificing your lives to bring and restore peace, especially at the community level. We can best honor you, the peacemakers on the front lines, by recommitting ourselves to actions of peace, advancing the SDG agenda, and contributing to building a Nigeria that allows everyone to exercise their rights freely and fully. Thank you.